Here I am,
There
I
you are.
think. What up, bro?
Yes, appreciate this. It's yeah, it's yeah. I remember when I did posted I was getting interviewed, and Father MC, who gave me an interview back in September, says that's my brother. To give a shout out to, and
I love listen, I love Father MC. Father MC is family. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like real family with me. We did a lot of things together, man, and I love him like a brother.
yeah. He's when I had like 10 viewers, he was gave me an interview, and since then, we've got close to 60,000 subscribers and stuff. But that's how much I really look out and appreciate him, and yeah. But the thing is that for a lot of us as New Jack fans, you guys, as Guy, are the cradle of a lot of things. Um, I know you've
Can you see me?
no, your video just went off.
Oh, it went off. Hold on.
Yeah.
It did. Wait, where is it at? How did my video go off? I can't even see where you at. Oh, here we go. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. But I wanted to go back to the beginning. For some strange reason, I always thought you were from the South. But can we go from where you? We've got an international audience. So where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Brooklyn, brother. Brooklyn, New York.
My goodness.
Um, and my whole family basically are from the East Coast. Outside of God bless my soul, my grandmother, my dad, and them was raised in Richmond, Virginia. But
Okay.
me, my brother Aaron, and also my god brother Teddy. Me and Aaron was in Brooklyn, and Teddy was raised in Manhattan.
Okay. Now, and that's because I think the stories about you being in university in Virginia, I used to think that's where you came from and stuff. But
Yes.
growing up as a child, what was your sort of thing that you were good at when you were young before the whole guy, but just going back then?
I was good at martial arts because I still do martial arts. So I was good at martial arts. I was good at acting. I still do that.
Yeah.
I'm about to do 2 movies. But I was basically good. I'm a people guy, right? So I'm a leader. I was a good leader. If I could say something, I was a great leader as a child growing up. All of my friends followed what I wanted to do. Um, Al. I don't want none of your viewers. Don't y'all come up to me and call me Al, right? Don't. That's my first name. We don't ever do that.
Okay.
But I literally I was a leader, man. I love people. I love to enjoy life with my friends, and like I said, martial arts was my thing. That's what I was great at.
Now I know you went to, is it Virginia State or university?
Yes, yes.
What was the plan? What did you go to study? And what was your plan, as in where you're going to spend the rest of your life?
You know, wow. That's the rest of my. I was the first person to go to college, right, in my family. So literally, I wanted to go to college, number one, because I wanted to make my dad and mom proud. Um, but I went to school for computer science and business. So I had double major, business management and computer science. Of course, I didn't realize how much computer science would be great for me right now.
Yeah.
You know, with coding and stuff that is making so much money these days, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I just went to school and I loved it. But I went to school for computer science and business management, and then everybody know that I left during my going right into my second year finals. I left, and that was because Aaron came to my school and he was like, "Yo, man, I'm about to be famous." I was like, "You about to be famous?" He said, "Yeah, I'm about to be famous. I need another person, so I need you to come be in this group." I said, "What group are you talking about, man? You don't understand, man." So I called my dad. It was real simple. I called my dad to let you know how crazy I was over my brother. I called my dad and said, "Dad, Aaron said he gonna be famous. He wanna do this group." is it okay if I went to help him? He said, if you want to do that, go ahead.
What?
Yeah, if you want to do that, go ahead. I left right before finals and went to New York, met Aaron, and went to sign this terrible ass contract.
Oh no, we'll get the contract. But I'm going back to university though, because I can't imagine, about to do your finals. Now, and I went to college in Wisconsin, and I know the American system. You can put stuff on hold and come back. At that point, did you think, that's it? Forget college. I'm going to go there, or was it a hard decision for you to just leave that?
No, it was not a hard decision. My brother said he needed me. I asked my dad if I can leave. He said, if you want to, and I left. It wasn't hard at all. I didn't even think twice for it, in any capacity.
Were you enjoying college and the perspective of what you could do after you finished?
Yeah, of course I went to college. I never asked that question that way. Like, I went to college thinking I was gonna just graduate college, right?
Yeah.
Now, me knowing me now, I realize I'm kind of happy where my life went outside of all the, but I don't want to speed up the interview. But my thing is, I'm not upset. I'm not sad that I didn't finish college. And I've never had a thought in my life, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back to college to get my degree. Never. That has never went through my head a day in my life.
Okay. So now I've heard in other interviews that you mentioned that you were very spiritual, Christian and everything.
Yes.
How much of the challenge was that as well? Your faith and you had something a lot more stable that you were control of, to Aaron saying, come and join us and help me out. Was it a spiritual decision as well? Let me pray about it, or was it like, okay, family first and everything second?
Aaron first and everything else second. It wasn't even about family. Families is my brothers and my sisters. Aaron first. Aaron said he needed me. I asked my dad, who is my everything.
Yeah.
Once he said, you want to do, I just left. It wasn't like spiritual. I was still, my heart and my soul belong to God.
Yeah.
So that wasn't going to disrupt me. And it didn't disrupt me, because I didn't leave school with this vision of being this great computer scientist and I'm going to graduate with honors. I'm going to school, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to do what I do if I stay in school. That wasn't my calling. When Aaron called upon me, then I was chose to be my brother's helpmate.
Yeah.
And I did that with an open heart. I didn't do it because I wanted to be famous and I wanted to be in a group. I didn't care nothing about that. I was a cornball. I was a church boy. But he was too, but I was a real church boy. I was like, praise the Lord, Jesus is real. Don't you dare cuss, and you better not. I didn't do anything. I didn't cuss. I didn't mess with girls. I did none of that. Guy corrupted me.
Oh goodness. I heard also when you did an interview recently that you mentioned it when he came over, he wrote "Smile," and unfortunately they didn't really portion that. But did he come over and say, "I need help," and you left, or was he there for a while, convincing you?
Aaron was at my school. Well, everybody thought he went to the school, first of all, because he always came out. So at one point he was at my school for about a month and a half, and he did the talent show, everything. Wow. And on the talent show, he did a song with a girl named Yvette, who sung "Smile." Aaron wrote "Smile" in 1986.
Whoa.
Smile wasn't heard until 1990 on the Future album.
Yeah.
So let you know, Aaron wrote that. But I got to say this too beforehand. Aaron also wrote the majority of the first Guy album.
Wow. See, yeah, I mean, and I think that's the especially with with the songs like that, we with the CDs back in those days, I think we only got the Future album we saw, but we've learned, my viewers would have learned about how names are pushed in there and credits are taken when credits aren't supposed to be there. but you were saying that he had Smile sort of written and sort of arranged back in '86 when he was coming to visit you. And what did you think of the song back in that early days? It's one of my favorites. It's, it's like a Gap Band sort of classic. Unfortunately, they didn't release it. But what was your thoughts when he wrote it?
I mean, first of all, every song that we ever did, but maybe I'm biased. Every song we ever did was the shit. You know what I'm saying? And so when Aaron wrote that song, he wrote it. He wrote it when he was at my school. He didn't come there with Smile. He wrote it at the school when he was at Virginia State. So when he knew he was going to sing with Yvette, he wrote the song, and it was arranged and everything the same way you hear it on the Future album. I thought it was great, because I was the victor on my campus for winning talent shows. I won a talent show, and my partner Clay Cofield, he did a song called Silver Suckers. Ain't nothing but a sucker, silver sucker. And it was like we was the Mile Boys. So they had Qs, AKAs, Kappas.
Okay, all affinities, yeah.
But we created our own called the Mile Boys. And so we used to go whoop and just have our hand up. So they thought we was a fraternity, but that was all good.
Okay.
So Aaron was talented, from church. So I wasn't shocked, but I didn't go, man, that's a great song. I just that's my brother singing a dope song. You know what I'm saying? I was, I'm like, I go to the school, I'm the victor of the school, but Aaron, they killed that. They killed that song. I think he beat me. I think he beat me actually. That he actually beat me
at the competition.
Jerk off.
So when he came to college, though, how long was that? Did he stay for? Did he stay for a while and try to convince you to come back? Or?
No, he didn't have to convince me. He was coming back and forth. Aaron just stayed at the camp. Like I said, maybe if you add all the time up, 3 months.
Okay, before you finally said, okay, let's go back. Let's go to New York.
Yeah, I mean, before I made my final decision, yes.
Okay.
And I don't think it wasn't because it was because I was just finishing certain things and because I lived off campus off campus the whole time I was on school. I might have been in a dorm freshman year, maybe a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Then I went off campus.
Okay, so then you pack your bags, and what is really interesting is the fact that your dad gave. It's almost like Solomon kind of advice, not saying yes, not saying no, but giving you the opportunity that if whatever you decide, your choices you make, you live by, but I'm going to be your dad regardless kind of thing. That's really powerful. You don't really get much of that. You normally get, you're going to college, you need to finish your college or trying to combine it. But were you surprised with the autonomy he gave you in making such a career decision?
I can't hear you for some reason.
Oh, can you hear me?
Why?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Hold on. I don't know why, because I gotta do that on my phone. So okay, now I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, no. So I was saying that your dad gave such a King Solomon type of advice, which is very unusual, because you have most parents who say, well, you're in college, you need to finish your college degree. But he gave you such a choice that it was like, regardless of what you decide, I'm still your dad, but you put it in your hands. That's very unusual. But what was your thoughts when your dad gave you that sort of some advice?
That if whatever I'm doing with him don't work, I'm gonna get beat up. Like he wasn't happy that I actually left. He didn't. Maybe he didn't think I would really do it, but I did. And when I did, they were very disappointed for sure.
Okay.
But as soon as we, signed the dreadful contract, well, as soon as I signed the dreadful contract, it was dreadful. And we went #1 with Groove Me. They forgot all about college. It was like, oh, my son is famous. Yes, my son are fame. You know, look, it's hard. It's hard to have two children in a legendary group, right? You got Jackson's, but you know, the Barge is like that's a real rare thing when you have, you know, that's a blessing to have two children in a group that changed the world. You know what I mean? So they didn't know what was gonna happen then, but you know, they was happy. Oh, look at my son, gold plaque. He got a gold plaque. They didn't even know what that was. Look at that gold plaque on the wall. Oh my God. Yeah, okay. You know, yeah, but you know, I never want to disappoint my dad, no matter what I did. I just never wanted to disappoint. And so I'm happy that Guy did what it did, because if it did, I think I would have really, really disappointed him and my stepmom.
Yeah.
I would have hurt.
Now I saw your video of the guy at the Apollo. I think I'll Be Show introduces that. Was that the first performance at the Apollo, and I'll Be Show's introducing you guys? It
probably is. The one where we did Groove Me was the first performance. I think we did Groove Me and I Like on that show.
On the show. And I could see how nervous Aaron was. You know, I could see the whole the coordination. What did surprise me is that you were at the back, and because Aaron's there, Teddy's going around playing, and I could see everyone's a little nervous, like, wow, this is really happening. But I was surprised to see that you were featured more at the back, drumming. Was that sort of? Did you have time to rehearse, and it was just on why? What was the thinking behind that at that early, very beginning?
Well, I'm a drummer, so I am a drummer. So
it's good to know, because I used to think it was just part of the show, but you actually are a drummer. Okay.
No, I was playing live. That was me playing. No, I was drumming. I mean, all the early part of Guy, the earlier part of Guy, I'm any of those shows, I'm basically playing drums, like Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah.
You know, the Apollo. I was on drums, but what the world was messing up was they thought I was the band. And I was like, I didn't know the guy in the back don't get the love. Hold up. Wait, hold on for 1 second. Let me get off these drums, give the sticks to a drummer, and let me move some percussions to the front.
Yeah.
And I moved the percussions to the front. They was like, what is this? I am no longer gonna have the same outfit y'all wearing and be in the back and they think I'm a band. No, it's GUY. We got the GUY on the back of our stuff. I'm the Y. We're not playing no game. I'm going to the front. And then I realized what the front brings. The front brings that instantaneous love, that instantaneous thing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense, because it was surprising at the beginning seeing those performances, but then later on seeing you up front. I've interviewed, Spec and KB from Basic Black and Mucho. I've interviewed Sprague, Doogie, Tammy Lucas. So I've spoken to everyone. So I think one of the things, because I start off by saying how much Father MC gives you love. One of the things I was surprised was that Guy was on Uptown, but I never thought of Guy being on Uptown. It almost felt like you were there, but you weren't really there. I almost felt that you guys were part of a different clique. So you had your Today, you had Abstract, Redhead Kingpin, so I didn't really think you were part of Uptown. Did it feel, what did it feel like? Did you feel like you were part of the Uptown family, or did you think you were more GR production from your point of view?
Well, we was definitely more GR Productions for sure. I mean, but without Uptown, we wouldn't be us.
Yeah.
Without Andre Harrell, God bless his soul, we wouldn't be us. So, yeah, we was signed to GR Productions, but knowing the business now, you kind of realize, oh, I was signed to GR Productions. Anyway, I won't go negative on this thing, but my thing is, it's because of Andre Harrell and Uptown why we are here where we are today. That we had to go that route.
Yeah.
But GR Productions was probably one of the biggest production companies of the time, because like you said, Redhead Kingpin, Abstract, guy on the top of the head of that.
Yeah.
Today, Rex in Effect. You know what I'm
Basic Black,
saying?
yeah.
You know, well, Basic Black came way after that. They wasn't
Okay.
part of. It wasn't part of us in that clique. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think nobody. But you know, I put Guy, and everybody was always getting upset at me. I put Guy on a whole other level of where we are in our life, right?
Yeah.
Like no, I don't put anybody on Guy's level. I just don't. So people could be mad at me, artists could be upset at me. They always get up, oh D man. I said, no, bro. You are not me, Aaron or Teddy. I don't care what those other. We did something that very few, and I say few, I can put on 4 fingers, have done, where changed the sound of music, gave a whole style and swag,
Yeah.
presented things that people did and made it mainstream. Jesus pieces, the canes, the brim hats, the overalls, the leather and the jean mixture. We had all that going on before anybody was doing it. As damn sure before they was doing it on a level where the world can take notice of it. You understand?
Yeah.
So, you know, and we created a whole sound, which is most important, a whole sound of music. So
Yeah.
I don't, you know,
Yeah.
I don't give. I don't, yeah.
Yeah, most of our fans will not dispute the importance of Guy. Any poll I do, and I'll get over 3,000 votes. If Guy's there, it wins, because it was it really, you know, it shook the industry, shook all of us with the kind of music styling and everything. And I remember speaking to Mucho, and he was, because they were the backup band for Today, and he said, you know, Gene would have everyone really working, and I'd say who was the best, and they said that you guys, Guy, were just on a different planet when it came to the production and the music and the performance, and
Exactly.
but so so that was really impressive. Back then, though, and I think we know the other side of Gene, and we'll talk about that later. But I wanted to focus on the worth ethic. You know, did you see yourselves as a Motown, and here was a Barry Gordy pushing you guys to be better than stuff, or was it like, man, this guy's pushing us too long. We're good as we are. What was it like back in those early days for you, especially coming from college, and really seeing show business from a new perspective?
I don't look at it where Gene pushed us to like, y'all better be. Nah,
No,
Gene
no, no.
was,
Perfection, to make sure that you were the best of the best.
look, we made sure we was the best of the best. I also don't give him that, but what I do give Gene is the swag and the confidence. He gave us that. He gave us that. But as far as like us being on that show, nah. I choreographed and put the dances together. Teddy did the band, and Aaron did the background singers. Like, we as a collective, Teddy, Aaron, Damion, made that show. We knew what we were good at. When we got our niche, nobody, because I was always thinking about, how can we destroy people on stage? Like, how can we do that? Even when I didn't know what it is we were doing, right? I didn't say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, this, and this. It was a trial. I'll never say ever, because literally, I don't think we ever, in the eyes of the public, did a bad show.
Yeah.
In our eyes, we know we did a lot of fucked up shows. You know what I'm saying? But in the eyes of the public, no. But you know, it's all trial and error, because I wasn't a dancer. I didn't know how to dance. I just danced better than Aaron and Teddy.
But where did you learn? How were you learning then? Were you to actually improve, because you became known as Crazy Legs, the sort of the, you know, the dancer, choreographer, and everything. But how did you pick that up?
Well, I picked it up from my late, God bless his soul, brother Shake. Shake was probably the baddest dancer in the state of New York. He was amazing. Him and his brother Kevin. But Shake was the guy. Like, it's like Aaron. Aaron was a guy, but you got brother Damion. Shake was a guy. We had a brother Kevin, and they was on all our videos. And Shake just really molded me. He made me believe that I was really fly. I had good ideas, but he just, I just love him. I love him. I love his mom, Jerry. She's like my mom. She's like, I called her mom. You know what I mean? And he just made me believe. I kept seeing him dancing. And I was good at. I end up picking up, and I end up. I'm a drummer, so I kind of understand rhythm. But I never forget when I started choreographing. I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm choreographing." No, Nick, that's not how you do it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay. I can see that, but I wasn't counting it right. I got it now. I got it. So because I would always come up with moves, and he would always, really like define them for me. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do this, 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 this. He said, "You want to do like this?" Bah, that, that. I said, "Yeah, that." I wanted to look like that. Yes. And by him doing that, it made me a better dancer. Now, I got to give credit where credit is due. I got the name Crazy Legs, but the original Crazy Legs from the Bronx, who was the Beat Street legend, breakdance legend, and to this day is still that cat. He's the original Crazy Legs. He is Crazy Legs. And thank God, we had a talk. Thank God I can dance and I could dance, because I would have disrespected his name big time. So yeah, I'm known for it, but he created it. So I want that to be known. Just in case people don't understand. There's 2 Crazy Legs. We both are fly as fuck, but he is the real dancer. I am that swag type of dancer. So I don't want to say I fooled y'all. I just want to say I did my thing for who I am.
But who gave you the name? Who gave it to you? Because
Aaron and Teddy. Aaron and Teddy gave it to me.
Okay. Did they name you after him, or did they just say, "Man, it's just your legs"?
No. I didn't even know he existed. I didn't know who he was for months. I mean, months. And then I heard that he was upset, and I was like, "Ooh, for what? What did I do? I own the trademark." But I didn't know. And then like I said, we spoke, and then I said, "Yo, much love, bow down, bro. You great. He's great." So, but it's because the way I move. Like I'm just, just to this day, everybody know, they see me get down, they know how I get down. So it's what it is.
So out of the first album, and how was that like coming on? I know you came to Sports Aaron, but then the album was already done. It had Timmy on the album cover. Now I've watched, I listened to Jack, and I heard you talk about how challenging it was that you go into a record store for promotion, and your face isn't there, and they change that. And I think the singles, when the singles are released, we see the 3 of you on it. Right. But the challenge, was there a challenge for you to be in the videos or a performance and singing the songs, knowing that you weren't on the first album? Or what was that? How was that for you?
No, they should thank God I was in the video, and it wasn't no problem for me, because I felt it. Look, again, I came in for my brother.
Yeah.
And the world was confused originally because Timmy was on the album cover and my name was in the back. So it kind of confused everybody. They were like, "Well, okay, what?" That's why it was more so, that's Teddy, that's Aaron, and that's the other guy, right? It's like, and then I literally made a name for myself. I literally made the world take notice on who Damion was going to be, because I made sure that I wasn't going to be disrespected. Once I understood what it was, I'm like, "Nah, bro, nah. That ain't happening. Take him off. I don't care about them photos. I'm never doing anything where I see his face on something, because he's not in the group anymore. So I don't want to hear we can and we don't." That's why you see the singles, and you see you started seeing singles come out and all these pictures of me, Aaron, and Teddy, because I made a fuss, and I literally was going to stop doing everything, because.
And no one else was thinking about that?
Of course not. Well, how can you when we young and you moving forward with stuff? No, they wasn't thinking that. I came in as the 3rd member, right? It's like Timmy gone. Who we gonna have? Oh, Dame. Oh, his brother. Why they look alike? Wow, this looks great. 2 brothers and Teddy Riley. This is fantastic. But you know, again, I went through that, but I also realized, nah, I got to get my own. I got to have my own voice. I got to have my own thing, and so I started just you know, creating more of a attention for me without really trying to take center stage, because you know center stage belonged to Aaron.
Yeah.
And Teddy was doing what he doing, so I always kept it to 1, 2, 3. It's no problem with me.
Yeah.
But you know, the world knows now what the deal is. You know what I'm saying? You know, no crazy legs, no energy on that stage. Period.
Where did that come from? That's because you may get a lot of people who are used to being, well, I'm just happy to be here, and just whatever they do, I do. And then you have some people who take it too far and like, man, that's it, I'm out of here. How did you maintain? Where did that come from? Were you able to maintain that balance where, guys, I've got to create my own identity, and I understand you guys were there before me, but you need to bring me in. That part of you to balance that.
Well, here's the thing. I balance it because I love my brother. That's the balance by itself. Yeah. I didn't do this for me. I didn't do this for me to come in and I want to be famous too. It's unfair that everybody keeps saying Aaron and Teddy. I didn't care nothing about that. I cared about my brother, but I wasn't going to be disrespected. So the balance was, I'm the third member too. Whether people call me quiet and called me real, you know, he was the quiet one. Okay, I was the quiet one. Whatever you say, it don't matter. Behind the scenes, I was doing a lot. I was coming up with the video concepts. I was directing the video when nobody was directing videos. I was doing that. I was designing the clothes. I was putting together the show. So Damion was, you know, creating a platform and a brand for guys themselves, and co-venturing with other people. The ideas I had in my head, that's facts. And Teddy taught me a lot when it came down to production and remixes and stuff like that. Like, so, you know, I never wanted to take the realm. I never had no animosity, no agenda to want to be in the same sentence of Aaron and Teddy. I didn't care nothing about any of that, because what I care about was my brother. You know, and what I care about now is the brand, is keeping the brand in people's heads to realize, you know, we ain't gone. We might not be doing stuff, but even when we're not doing stuff, we're doing something.
Yeah. When they did remixes, were you then featured on any of those vocals for the first album, any of the singles that came out, or would they just take the old vocals and just continue?
Yeah, they took the old vocals. They took the old vocals for sure, because Aaron did all the background, so it sounded like me anyway. Because when you hear the Future record, I'm the backgrounds on the majority of that album.
Yeah.
So it still coincided, because me and Aaron have the same tone, right? It's like, we're brothers, you know. I sing, he sing. Sometimes we sing just alike, but he has a higher pitch, and I have a more of a baritone first tenor.
Yeah.
In my voice. So
yeah. Before I get to the Future, I wanted to see from the first album, performance-wise, what were your top 3 songs that you really loved in the first album? So whether it's doing a show or just naturally, just like, you know, these are top 3 tracks on that first album.
Spend the Night, I Like and Groove Me.
We Can Spend the Night, I Like.
Spend the Night, I Like and Groove Me. But I'm gonna say this: one of the funkiest songs on the album, and I might play at least once a week, if not twice a week, is Round and Round. That right there was funkier than Groove Me to me, right? That was like, to me. Listen, man. Guy is the shit. If I wasn't a member and I was a fan of a group, and I'm not a fan of nobody, but if I was a fan of a group, I probably would have been a Guy fan too, because to me, that I can look, I listen to our music, and again, you know, for all those that understand where I'm coming from, and I hope y'all do. When I listen to our music and I listen to other people's music of that genre, that time, and I listen to people's music now, and I put on our music and I play our remixes, still to this day, people can't match Guy's sound and our groove, and that thing where you just damn, all their records, dog, got that thing going on.
Yeah.
Teddy had that Aaron had that thing that you immediately caught on to.
Yeah.
And I had the tune and doing backgrounds that you love. But man, bro, I don't care. Listen, y'all see me? Y'all know Guy is the shit.
Yeah. People are not good. No, people don't doubt that because, you know, as I said, especially the music was different when you guys came on the scene and it was like, wow, what's this? And, you know, even the name Guy, you know, you know, just the image and the styling and everything. When it comes to working on the Future album, at least in that time, you had a little bit more chance to get involved and stuff. But, you know, speaking to the guys from Basic Black and stuff, that's where they noticed like, wow, there's a split going on. I think from your point of view, so you talked about the bad contract, and we've seen interviews of you talking about that, and it's very different. But from your point of view, as a group, what was happening that you guys realized, you know, halfway through the album, we need to part ways? I think your volume went off. Oh, it's on mute. Okay, you're on. Hello?
I don't know what be going on.
Okay.
But I didn't hear.
Okay.
I don't know if you was talking.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, goodness, no. So I was saying that one of the things I noticed, and most of us noticed, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I think one of the things that a lot of us noticed is that the Future album had tracks like Gotta Be a Leader and stuff. So it seems to us that halfway through, while recording, that things change with Gene, that you guys sort of weren't happy, put stuff on the album. When I speak to the other guys, you know, Basic Black and everyone else, they from a point of view like, well, we didn't really understand. We just knew that we were moving to Georgia and with Zan and the rest sort of left, and you guys moved on. You knew you had a bad contract from the time when you first signed. What changed that you guys decided, you know, we gotta have to leave Gene for good?
Well, I mean, again, I don't, you know, Gene, yes, could have done things a lot better when he was alive, a lot better. But he also made us better. He also, I always say this: if it wasn't for Gene, I wouldn't know the business because there was so much fucked up stuff that happened. Not just that he did, just in the whole realm of the stuff that it taught me this business like the back of my hand. I understand it very well. Mm-hmm. And yes, things started falling apart, but it's not just Gene's fault. And it's not just Gene's fault. And I will not say that. And I never have said that, never will. It's not just Gene's fault. At the end of the day, things happen. Yeah, we gotta be a leader, you know. Gotta make it, flip it, you know. But such is life, man.
Yeah.
Like such is life. And you know, as you get older, you start realizing certain things ain't right. It's not right, but it's not. Let me tell you something. A head person, a leader, captain, whatever you want to call him, cannot take over a ship if his crew feel like taking over the ship. You understand? Hmm. And if I'm a captain and I'm taking from you, taking writers credit, doing this, making one person bigger than the other two members and all this stuff, if the crew don't accept that, it would never have happened. Yeah. So I blame myself too in the process of things going a little awry because I spoke up a lot. I spoke up a whole lot, but only Gene knows, and Gene's not here to talk. So yeah. I spoke up a lot, but it's people need to just take notice of themselves and look in the mirror, and we all have to do that in the midst of the God breakup. But I love the Future album. I loved recording it. The fact that it was something I was part of, which I'm writing now. I'm singing more. I'm becoming more acclimated into my position in the group. Yeah, like, you know, how many artists you get coming from a classic Guy album with every song from top to bottom outside of Business. I never liked Business. I thought that was a shitty ass song. But and then going into The Future, where every song on the Future album was something. And I don't know how many groups could say that. I mean, we were just funky. So you know, being young, you just want things to happen right. You want things to end up being right. And so you stick in there and you do your best to pray that it all comes back together correctly, and that our young minds don't get corrupt or influenced by people telling you you're better, it's about you, and you, if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't be. A lot of that shit was going on, man. So, you know, and then, you know, anyway, a lot of stuff going on, man. And I always tell groups when I see them, like, you gotta really keep hold of your true self, that thing that allowed y'all to be together when you first started, that heart thing, that beautiful youth moment where you knew that y'all could be something. If you don't keep a hold of that, this business will eat your ass up.
Yeah. And I think what was great about what you said is that we've always painted Gene as the pantomime villain, but you've taken a very different approach by saying there are things he could have done differently, but we all had a part to play in it. And I think that's really admirable, because it gives us an understanding that, yeah, because we've learned over the past couple of months about everyone, you know, gets influenced and misled and takes advantage without understanding the hurt that they're doing to others. On the Future album, it was one of my first albums that I got. I got the Future album. I got Peaceful Journey, Invoke, Born to Sing. Those, like, when I could actually get money to buy. So most of my friends and people that I grew up with would tell you that the Future album was New Jack Swing. What if someone says, "What's New Jack Swing?" They'll bring out the Future album, because that was pretty much, you know, the whole thing. You know, you mix the suits in the beginning, and then sort of the mixture with the styles and everything. What I was surprised that I didn't hear more of you, or even taking more of the lead in a couple of songs. Was that a conscious decision within the group to say, Aaron does this amount, and okay, well, Teddy will do this? Because as a fan, I was like, wow, Damien's now, how come we're not seeing him do a lead song or so?
Hold on 1 second, because I can't hear you again. I don't know. Hold on.
Is it on?
Can you talk now?
Yeah. Is it? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. I was saying with the Future album, it was one of the first albums I bought, and
right.
it's you know, I was excited about seeing the difference, because you had Aaron doing stuff, you had Teddy doing stuff. Most of my friends and I were disappointed that we didn't see you lead a track or so. And I was wondering, was that a decision within the group to say, let's just keep what we did in the first album, and just have Aaron and Teddy do most of the stuff?
You know what? When, again, it goes back to me saying, the people could be in your head and say, it's YouTube. And some people don't ever grow from that, right? Some people don't grow and say, you know what? Yo, hold up. He should be singing this. Like, for instance, I said this. If I originally sung Let's Chill on the Future, right? I did the vocals, the lead vocals, everything. And they mastered it with my vocal on. Now, when I left and when it came out, my vocal was off and Aaron's vocal was on. So that's a conscious decision that you make, a deliberate decision that you make to say, why give him a chance? Let his brother keep doing what he do. let Teddy keep doing what he do. He ain't gotta do that. Just let him give him little pieces of something. Thought you loved me, but you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like little cutesy, whoopsy things, right? But that's cool. Because I had to keep in my head, I'm doing this for my brother. So it's cool because I can sing too. I know if just Let's Chill, if they kept me on the lead of Let's Chill, imagine where my career would be right now. Because Let's Chill, still to this day, is playing on radios all over the place like it just came out. You know what I mean? So imagine if, because he sang it exactly the way that I sung it.
Is him in the background, or did they keep your background vocals?
No, they kept my backgrounds on it.
Okay.
But it doesn't look. I did the lead. I should have been on the lead.
Yeah.
I should have. You know, it would be a different thing, man. Like, but the love that I have for my brother, and I'm more mature than that. You know, if I could do it again, I would have fought the fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this record unless I'm singing and unless I'm doing this song and that song. I want to sing lead on dancing. You know what I'm saying? I would have said some. I mean, not dancing. Excuse me, but on other records. But I did do one song, right? Not the future. I think. What was the song on?
Tell Me What You Like, New York Undercover.
That was Tell Me What You Like came off of the
New York Undercover.
New York Undercover soundtrack. But on the Future album, I did a song that Teddy did for Michael Jackson originally. It's like track 16 or the last track.
Is it Long Gone?
No, right after Gone.
Yearning?
No.
Nope. Let's Stay Together?
No. Let's Stay Together. No. Forward, I'm getting, whenever it gets to the future, I always put the Future and Guy 3 album.
I think it's Guy 3. It's probably Guy 3.
No. It's not Guy 3 because I know all the songs I did on Guy 3. But yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. It'll come to me. But neither here or there. It's like, you know, I play my role. Look, I was here to play a role, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, I played my role, and I played my role very well. Because at the end of the day, you know, I had to get myself to say, I don't care. I'm getting the same amount of money when I'm on that stage that Aaron and Teddy get. So don't matter to me. It was the behind the scenes stuff that was going on that really messed up the mindsets of the group, you know? So, you know, when we was on that stage, we love each other when we're on that stage, man. It's just something about all three of us on that stage that's very different than any other group. It ain't got nothing to do with us being the best singer or the best dancers. It's just something we have that is super special. And sometimes I don't think we even know what it is.
Can you explain to viewers the difference between the music industry? Because when you come into this, you have a very great relationship with your brother, and I'm sure with Teddy and with everybody. But what we're finding out that there's something about the industry that just, and it's almost like if you've ever watched Lord of the Rings, that you put on the ring and you become a very different person, and you don't, and only when you come out like, my goodness, what happened to me? Because a lot of it's almost as if it's like everyone has this sense that if we don't take, we'll lose out and stuff. But it's not intentional, but it can, I won't say corrupt. But did you find, is there anything there that you could just share? I mean, not details, but just did you notice that it could change you in some ways that even close people could just be almost apart without realizing?
Well, it didn't change me at all. The industry didn't change me a bit. I might have got more famous. I might have got more wild. I started cussing, but that's not industry. That's choices I made. You know what I'm saying? The industry chooses to stay on a certain narrative that was painted to make one or some of a group or a person bigger or smaller than they want them to be. And literally, you can't trust the industry. The industry isn't shit. That's why, you know, nowadays everything is so beautiful. You can do your own thing and control your own platform, and you ain't really got to rely on the record companies no more with social media and NFT and all this other stuff that's going on. You don't really need them anymore, right? And I think when the record company goes, oh, Teddy Riley created Guy, and it's Teddy Riley featuring Guy. When they started doing that shit, the writing was on the wall.
Is that with the Do the Right Thing album that they had, My Fantasy? I was very surprised it was Ted Riley featuring Guy, but he sang the first verse, Aaron sang the second. You're all in there. Was that what you meant, that they were pushing one over the other?
Well, at the end of the day, you can't feature a member of a group. That's the dumbest shit on the fucking planet. You can't say New Edition featuring Ralph Tresvant. That is the dumbest shit ever. I don't care what nobody think or say.
Yeah.
Like once you start doing that, you putting a wedge between a group, because mentally, if you are weak-minded mentally in any capacity, it might not be your fault. It just might be the fact that you so entangled in the business industry that you get caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? Like people always say, how's your relationship with Ted? I don't blame Ted for anything, because Ted didn't do shit to me. He did absolutely nothing to me. What he did is did shit to himself that affected us. And when you allow people to make you feel you're better than the people that you started with, forget Kids at Work. But Guy is what made Teddy into this known individual he is. And then his music speaks for itself, right? But you can't separate Teddy. You wouldn't even know Teddy like that if it wasn't for Guy. And you got to give credence to that, to my brother and Timmy Gatling. You have to. And if you don't, then you living in that bullshit as well. They want you to live in. That's, you know, it's like, oh my God, COVID is taking over the world. It's like, if you living in that and you believing in that, and that's making you not see your family, then you the dumbass on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck out of here, man. Excuse me, I hope I can say that on the show, but you know, at the end of the day, it's real. Like family has to remain family. And at a certain age, you can't blame nobody else. You got to blame yourself. You have to look at yourself and blame yourself. Me, and I'll tell you, you have to say, why did I let this go so far? Why did this happen? Why did I do? You got to blame yourself. You can't point the finger at somebody all the time. So I don't blame Teddy for nothing. I don't blame Aaron for nothing. I blame myself for taking a lot out of my life, put it into a brand at times that really didn't want to be embraced.
Yeah.
But because I got caught up in the brand, I got caught up in we should be better than what we are because we are greater than what we are acting like.
Yeah.
Better than what we are because we are greater than what we acting like. Why on earth don't you see the fact that when we are together, that's what makes everybody go, oh wow, they go Aaron, David, Teddy, boom, 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 boom. You can still do your individual stuff. You can still do your Aaron Hall album, Damion Hall album, Black Street record, Teddy Riley featuring friends. I don't care. But you never forget your core. That's the thing that artists on all genres sometimes forget. They let the money and the fame get to their head, and then they on drugs. They got dumbasses around them that's not holding them accountable.
Yeah.
They're just letting them do, and they know they're doing well. I should tell them to stop, but I'm not gonna say nothing because I might lose my job, or he might not let me come with him anymore, or she might not talk to me anymore. Get the fuck out of here. You gotta really, this industry is not meant for you to be a star. If you believe in that, something is wrong. This industry is meant to eat you up. You gotta know that God made you to be something special more than the music. He allowed the music to embrace you and for you to become the music. And because of that, the world embraces you if you get to that position. Forgive me, I just went there.
No, but you know what you're saying is even athletes and actors, it is very hard when you get all this adoration and I have no idea what it's like to have thousands of people shouting my name and screaming and stuff, to not feel that you are bigger than able to walk on water. And So I think we're understanding that it is an industry that divides and conquers. And we saw the New Edition stuff and was like, wow, we didn't realize how they all felt. But one thing about them is that they did come back and continue. Strangely enough, they are viewed as the biggest band in the last 40 years, not because of the music they've did, but because they went away, did stuff, came back, and became bigger for that and stuff. And which is where a lot of Guy fans were disappointed that we never saw that sense of, okay, we've all gone out and let's come back in.
Well, I have to go against that. Okay. Because you got the first album, and then we got the second album, and y'all was totally ecstatic. Then we broke up for 10 years, literally 10 years, and came back with the Guy 3 album. Then we broke up, came back. That's when people should have started getting like, damn, right? Like between that 90, 2000 period, we left a lot of money on the table, and who knew where we could have been if we stayed together. That's the sorrow right there, right? That's the sorrow. But here's the added plus for Guy. What group 2 albums, lived a whole 33 going on 34-year career on just 2 albums, of which every song on both albums, outside of, for me, A Business, you love and you stand up. And yet in 2019, we still was headline, and we've never not headlined. And when we didn't headline, we co-headline.
Yeah.
So, and you're talking about off of 2 albums. Everybody else that did shows got 3, 4, 5, 6 albums, but they're still only doing 1 album worth of material.
Yeah.
We never did all of our material on stage. If we did all of our material, the world would go crazy. The sorrow of us is that we never gave the world, these countries, Africa, New Zealand, Germany.
Yeah, even the UK, yeah.
Spain, we never gave them Guy. And so the fact that after all these years, they still respect us and still want to see us and still listen to the music or even still play the music, that's the blessing. That's the thing that keeps my heart beating and going. Yo, don't give up, D. Do what you have to do, because people still love you. They still love Aaron. They still love Teddy. Yeah. And because of that, they're giving us opportunity to still be around. It's like, oh, he's still there? It's like, we're still there because they're giving us the opportunity. Y'all are giving us the opportunity to still be around when we didn't give ourselves the opportunity to be greater than what we really could be. Yeah. Like, I'm in shock sometimes. I'm like, damn, people love Guy like that. Yeah. And then I say, yeah, they should. Then I go, why? Because your music is the shit. Yeah, that's true. But we ain't respect ourselves enough to let them know that we love ourselves enough to continue to love them so that they can see us. Yeah. So they shouldn't. But man, thank God they do. And I thank you all. I thank everybody for still remembering that time when Gumi first started, still remembering what I like and Piece of My Love and Goodbye Love did for them. Still remembering that there's 3 people who truly love each other and who made a lot of wrong mental decisions, and y'all still give us the opportunity to be around an industry that is, as far as I'm concerned, convoluted by a bunch of mess. Yeah. And yet and still, you keep us here. That's because of y'all. They ain't got nothing to do with us. So
I agree. The first album, as I said, was a very different. It blew up. The second album was the definition of New Jack. It was amazing. My favorite track on the album was Let's Stay Together. I love the remix. You're rapping, Aaron's rapping, Teddy's rapping, Aaron's singing. It's my favorite Guy's song. It's the Let's Stay Together.
Not to her. I was in the Let's Stay Together. I never forget that, because that's when we broke up. Literally.
Explain, because I this is my favorite track, and it's always a, you know, that's kind of Let's Stay Together, unlike the Beatles' Let It Be. But what was the why released it? Did you release it? No, yeah, this is our last track. We're just gonna, because you
No
watch
way.
the video, you don't see it like that.
No, we did not. We did not think. Well, I didn't think. I didn't know that we was gonna break up. That's kind of weird to let's stay together. I'm not the type of guy to be saying, and then we break up. That was the shitty ass. Every time I hear that song, I think about the breakup. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love the remix because
Yeah, it's my favorite. As I said, my favorite guy track is the remix.
I mean, I'm glad that's your favorite guy track, but I love the remix. You know, we in there, we looking good. I'm in the boxing ring.
Yeah,
and I'm doing that thing. Being hard is not too hard. I was a thing with a my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, what it was I could not see. Now I know that I am glad, and this is the best feeling I ever had. You know, like that. I remember every moment of what we did when we not just did that video, every song we ever did with God, right? Like we had great times with each other, man. We really had some serious, great ass times. Here's the thing: when we love each other, we really love each other. And when we don't want to deal with each other, we really don't deal with each other.
Wow.
Like I don't talk about nobody because I just don't do that.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the fans can make the decisions for themselves, however they view shit. I'm not here to make you look down on Teddy or Aaron or look up at me. Is you got your own opinion of how you feel about the individuals or me when I speak. But I live in my truth. Right? I live in my truth. And I truly always say there is no group better than Guy. And there's only two groups that I love that's up here before we came into the picture. And even when we was in the picture, there was up here, New Edition and 2020 Tony. Wow. Like those were the two groups. To this day, I still put on a pedestal, a very hefty pedestal.
Wow.
And I always say, if New Edition and Guy was to do a concert, oh my God, have mercy. If we was to tour together, we'll break, and I'm saying this, we'll break, I don't care what genre of music, we will sell out and break goals, ticket sales, goals.
Yeah.
If we was to do that, because people miss that thing. They bought something that was unique in music. And even though the Four Tops and the Spinners and Temptations did certain steps like that, they did it with a different type of swag.
Yeah.
And it was just, they were just, they still are incredible.
Yeah.
You know, as people and as individuals, I love them to death. And I say that, but everybody know how I feel about Guy. Like Guy, when we found our mark, oh my God. When we started realizing, wait a minute, we are as good as people think we are.
Yeah.
Like, that's when it was, man, come on. Were we doing a show? Yeah. We about to...
Oh, the volume. Oh, your volume went off. Oh, you went on mute. Oh, yeah. You went on mute. Oh, you went on mute, yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now. Because you went on mute.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I got it on Do Not Disturb, but I'm saying during those times, it was so much fun amongst all artists.
Yeah.
I'll Be Sure, Sweat, Tony, Kid and Play, Heavy D and the Boys, New Edition, In Vogue. You know what I'm saying? It's like we really had a ball with each other, man.
Yeah.
But we pushed each other like, we on the same show. Oh, get ready for this. Like we really pushed to be the best.
Yeah.
And that's why everything you saw during that time were great.
Yeah.
Great, man.
Yeah.
And I don't care what nobody say. Still, if you go to a 90s tour and you go to a tour that's out now and you really listen to the music, ain't nothing better than 90s.
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In my case, I gotta say late 80s, 90s. Right?
Yeah.
In my case.
Yeah.
There was nothing better than that.
You know, my favorite track. You do my favorite track, but you said, is it after the video goes out that you guys have a meeting and say, you know, we're splitting up? Or I didn't understand, because the track comes out.
No, no, no. It wasn't after the meeting. It wasn't no after the video we sat down and said we're gonna split up. We ain't never sit down.
Oh, oh, sorry, you're. Yeah, I don't know if it just went on mute. Yeah, you were saying.
I think it's. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It just went on mute as you were talking. Yeah.
Yeah, my phone is ringing like a maniac because I do so much stuff throughout the day. But I got it on do. Oh,
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
yeah. I don't. Somebody's ringing my phone like crazy. I don't know who that is. But neither here nor there. Like we never sat down and said, you know what, we need to break up. No, that conversation never happened. Never. We didn't never sit down and go, you know, I think we've been too long. I think we need to really just leave each other alone. We was blindsided by the breakup, honest and truthfully. I didn't see that coming in any capacity. I never saw that coming. But it happened. Our last show was at Madison Square Garden. We had a great show. And after that show, it was done. Done. Like cold turkey, done.
So as I said, you come up with a big album, and it was very, very amazing that the Future album had, I think, 7 or 8 singles released. I mean, that's an album. You know, the Future album, the first album had 8 tracks. You release 7 singles and videos. So you know the label's looking to really push this. You had remixes that were breaking records. And so for us, it's like, wow, you know, and R&B was moving in a very big direction. So of course, naturally, we're looking for the next thing. You guys break up. Now, I think Teddy has given his story about the New Edition concert, losing Brandon to shooting, and he felt that was it. But when the group goes off, it seems as if that, you know, it was there. You know, and we get reports that Aaron wasn't happy with Gene, so he didn't want to continue singing. As I said, as fans, all we can do is just grab whatever we're seeing on the internet as a sense of why is our favorite group disbanding after blessing us with one of the best albums we've had in years. You're saying you were blindsided. Was there no way of, because you were the glue of trying to make it say, come on, let's just think about it and take time off and come back?
Well, during that time, I'm the glue more so when we got back together again. Okay. In 2000. From that point on, I'm the reason why you saw Guy, even when we broke up 2-3 times since then, why Guy, the name still succeeded, why we still, the brand is still alive. If it wasn't for me, the brand would be dead right now. That's just facts. Like everybody knows that has any type of brain inside their head. During that time, it wasn't, again, I go back to people can get into your head in such a way where you feel I shouldn't do this any longer. Whatever reasoning you give to somebody, again, it's all about somebody looking in the mirror and really telling the truth to themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have no beef with Aaron or Teddy. I don't think at that time Aaron had any beef with me or Teddy. And I didn't think Teddy had a beef with me or Aaron. You know what I mean? So why? You know, we can say a lot. Like I said, I don't really talk about people and things. You know, I think when if you allow people to get to you, and if somebody tell you enough, it's about you. It's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. Somebody tell you that enough, you start really believing that shit. Mm. And then you say, well, man, let me do me, make more money doing me. Right. But like I said, when I got in the business in 88, late part of 87, I didn't get into this business to be Damion Hall and then become some superstar. I didn't get into it. So my mindset, even in the midst of us becoming superstars, was still, I'm doing it for my brother, and I'm doing it for the love of Teddy and Aaron. And I hope this never dies, because we are great together. But then it did. And then you go, what the fuck? So I think it was wrong to the fans. And I always apologize. I always apologize to y'all, because y'all still didn't get the best of Guy yet. You still haven't. And you might not ever get the best of Guy if people don't wake up. Even in the midst of us going on 53, one going on 57, and the other one going on 54. Being 54. You wouldn't, I don't know, man. The sorrow is in where do you draw the line of allowing yourself to look what you allowed yourself to be in, a place where you allowed yourself to be, and say, why? And really answer whether you answer it onto the fans, whether you answer it to yourself, you got to answer to yourself and say, why? Why did I do? Like, I refuse to die on some bullshit, like, and not tell the truth. That's why when people see my interviews, they love hearing my interviews, right? Because I'm one of the true artists that really speak my truth without creating anything behind it, right? I don't need to create anything, because my life is my truth. Yeah. And my truth is, Aaron and Teddy was my life. And in some kind of capacity, they are still my life. And no matter what I do, they're still going to be added in my life. There'll never be an interview where somebody just speaks about Damion. Never. Yeah. I don't care if I had movies, clothing lines, Grammys, Oscars, they'll still be like, so is there any chance that you and Aaron and Teddy get back together again? Yeah. Because it's just what it is. It's not like we just some regular group, did some regular music, and we really not that. But when you think about, and I always say this, when you think about the fact that the records that we broke during that time of 88 and 90, and that we changed the sound of music and brought a swag to the industry that was never in the industry. But we never won an award outside of the Black Honors. We didn't get a BET award. We didn't get a Soul Train award. We didn't get an American Music Award. We didn't get a Grammy. We didn't get a European International Award. We didn't get a Legendary Award. What the hell? That don't make sense to me. Yeah. And so I always say it because I think it's a disrespect to Guy. It's almost like some of these people that acted. Whenever I saw Al Pacino and he won the Oscar for Sin of a Woman, I was saying, "Who?" I was like, "What?"
Over Malcolm X, over Denzel's, Malcolm X, yeah.
Like, that movie compared to The Godfather, series, and compared to,
he did Dog Day Afternoon. I mean, Dog Day
Afternoon. You got all of these different.
Scarface,
how the fuck he win for Sin of a Woman? Come on, man. Yeah. This is industry as a whole. Yeah. Don't have their head screwed on, bro. I don't care. Look, the industry didn't do nothing for me. My talent, Andre Harrell, MCA, or Universal, well, MCA at the time, they did stuff for us. They gave us an opportunity and platform to be seen. Yeah. But when it came out to the industry cats doing what they do, industry cats, man, they did everything in the world to try to bury us for whatever reason.
Yeah, and you wonder why you guys are not, even considered for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But
come on.
But your Straight to the Point album, a lot of fans are saying the track with Chanté Moore.
Yes.
She sounds, she was one of those people who had the voice of an angel when she sings. This amazing track. Track.
Mm-hmm.
The fans were saying, why did he just not? He says, why was there no video for his second single, "Do Me Like You Want to Be Done"? It had heavy rotation, good remixes by Tricky Stewart, but it seems like the record promotion came to a halt for some reason.
Tricky, the remix was done by me and Tricky. So let's make that very clear. The whole album, and again, if it wasn't for Tricky and Sean Sepp Hall, you can't mention Tricky Stewart without mentioning Sean Sepp Hall. Because the reality is, I did my whole album. I produced my whole album. I did 16 songs when I was in Atlanta. I came to LA. When I came to LA, I met Tricky and Sean, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna pay y'all X amount of dollars to take what I did and make it better. So when you see my album, executive produced by Damion and Tricky Stewart and Sean Sepp Hall, and you see this, and I wrote every lyric on my record outside of 4 songs.
Wow.
Satisfy You, Never Enough, Lost Inside of You, and Second Chance. Those 3 songs, ballads, were done by Brian McKnight. I made minute changes on Second Chance. But I wrote my whole album. So from top to bottom, I owned, literally on a legal standpoint, I owned 78% of my album. If that album would have went platinum, I would have been out of here. Here's the thing. Chanté Moore, she's amazing. She's amazing to this day, one of the baddest, beautiful women on this planet still to this day.
Yeah. So
I had a single in Satisfy You that should have did just as big as I Miss You. Secondly, you say Do Me Like You Want to Be Done.
Yeah.
That had heavy rotation. The remix was even doper because the remix sounded like a guy remix.
Yeah, that's what the fans just wrote in.
People don't understand that Dog Me Out. Let this be known. Dog Me Out, I did the remix for Dog Me Out. Teddy came in and added to that. The remix for Her, the club version, the first EDM record ever in life of history. I did that remix. It was a white label that went to London. And then they said, no, it said, produced by Damion Hall, additional production, Teddy Riley. When they saw that, they said, we can't do that. They made it a white label and they hit it that I ever did the remix. So, see, people can get caught up because what happens is, again, we go back into industry. If industry paints you, invite you, and put you on magazines, and it's all you reading and seeing, like this COVID shit. Oh, you hear me? COVID. This person died today. COVID. Oh, man, don't get the vaccine, you're going to die. You get the vaccine, you got adverse effects, but it's okay because that's okay. It happens. No, all that is bullshit. If you peel back the curtain, if you walking in the Wizard of Oz, you go down the yellow brick road and you go and you pull back that curtain, you actually see the truth. And sometimes the truth is not what you thought it was. You actually seeing a short man who ain't got no type of courage and ain't ready to do nothing because he don't want to look at reality in his own skin. So he create a whole different type of person. And that's what this industry does. It creates a whole bunch of bullshit ass people that a bunch of chicks and niggas want to be like and think they looking up to people that are greater than thou art. And they really not. They really not. They might be talented, but everybody not gifted. Everybody can't pull that gift in. You know what I'm saying? You might be, oh man, but let's perform. Let's go on that stage. That's why Guy was so great. We sounded like our album. Let's go on stage. I always tell every artist that. Stop. I don't care about your hits, bro. You got to care about that, and I'm happy for you. But let's go on that stage. Let's go song for song.
Yeah.
That's me.
But as one of the fans is saying that, why wasn't there a video? Because the Do Me Like You Want to Be Done had heavy rotation around the country, great remixes, but the fans were saying, but we didn't see any a video.
Because the record company told me, you cannot be bigger than your brother. We will not allow you to be bigger than your brother. And they cut all facets of my record. Now, you seem to be a historian of certain sorts. My album came out. My album was 7 with a bullet on the Billboard charts. When they told me this in my face, they all told me, I won't say names, but all the executives of MCA, Silas Records at the time, said, you can't be here, brother. We won't allow that. The next week, I was completely off the charts. I thought I was blind. I opened up the Billboard, was like, Damion, looking for Damion, because, you know, every artist want to see where they at on the charts, right?
Yeah.
You go like, I said, I closed the magazine and then opened it up again. Because maybe I was tripping, but I was completely off. That's when I said, ooh, the industry is something. They control everything. And then I started, then I said, you know, you gotta really just rely on yourself. And if it's God's will for you to still be around, then you're gonna be around. If it's not, they won.
In '94, I was in college and I was working at Best Buy, and I was working in the media department, so selling, just love the CDs and stuff. And I remember the albums when they'll come in, we'll take them and put them on the rack. And I did notice that you notice if there's not enough, you know, some albums, you know, would get boxes, but I noticed that yours didn't seem to have as many that would come in. So I didn't, as I said, didn't understand if you know, what was the reason? Because as I said, you know, you both would be R&B first, and you be below Hall. Then you have Hall and Oaks and stuff. So we stacked them up. But if you don't get enough CDs, after a while, when it finishes, you can't replenish it. So is it that they had a brand with Aaron, and I'm thinking around this time, Jive Records, BMG had R. Kelly, and they're like, okay, we need to protect our brand and our voice, and we don't want to dilute the split the fans.
No, I don't. Listen, the fans, if you understand fans are going to like who they like no matter what. You can have 100 artists out there at the same time. They're gonna gravitate to whom they want to gravitate to, you know? And with us, there's not competition. You had 2/3 a guy. And I said this to you. You got 2/3 a guy. Whenever you saw Aaron Hall, you should have saw Damion Hall. Aaron in the magazine, Damion right there next to him. That is Aaron celebrate Damien's album right there. This way you selling both albums underneath your same umbrella. Why wouldn't you do that? But they didn't, because they told me in my face, you can be bigger than your brother. And bigger than him in what way? Why? I'm not competing with my brother. My brother got an album. I have an album. I'm just trying to do something. Y'all didn't believe in me. I did my own album, literally produced my own album. And I picked every song that's on that record. I only did 16 songs, and 16 songs that I did made the album. What are you talking about? So,
were you contractually obliged to stay with MCA, or did you not have the opportunity to look at different labels at that time with your solo deal?
I didn't even think about looking at other artists.
Labels.
I mean, like other labels, excuse me. I didn't think about looking at other labels during that time, because I was like, well, I'm on Silas. Now I'm not on Silas. They had me obligated for 7 albums. I went on a mission. I went on a serious mission, and I went on BET. Arsenio let me go on his show twice. Tom Joyner helped me out, and I pressured them, and they ripped up my contract, because I was like, there's no way I'm not giving you another album, and I'm not going to be a slave to Universal MCAs. Never going to happen.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So, you know, and I didn't think about, hey, I got a solo album. Let me take this, and let me see if Jive will pick me up, or let me see if Sony will pick me up. Let me see if Capitol Records pick me up. Let me see if Arista will pick me up. I didn't think about it on that level, because I really didn't get in this business to do anything except to be with my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to be with my brother. So the industry changes that. And so, you know, sometimes you can get caught up in a fantasy that does not exist. And then you got to look at reality. And I always teach my kids and people, look in the mirror. I look myself in the mirror and say, this industry don't give a fuck about you, bro. You got to care about yourself. And you gotta see what it is. I did put too much time and effort into Guy and less on myself. I always say that. If I have to think about anything else. I put a lot of Damion Hall single-handedly kept Guy alive.
Yeah.
And that shit was hectic.
The other fans were asking, why didn't we see an Aaron and Damion album like Casey and JoJo kind of stuff? You know,
I wish you should have, because you saw, for those that came out when Teddy left and went to Blackstreet, and me and Aaron were doing shows with each other, headlining still amongst all of those that thought we couldn't. We were still headlining with Keith Sweat, Blackstreet, with Teddy Riley in it, SWV, Jagged Edge, Next, Genuine. I'll Be Sure. We were still headlining, me and Aaron as Guy, right? We should have done an album, but again, look yourself in the mirror. You got to ask yourself, why wouldn't you do stuff like that? Do you really want to be in this business? Do you really want to do this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Everyone's been asking me about, is it Forte, or what happened to the group Forte? Is it
Zebrahead soundtrack?
Is it? Was that your group?
It was what it was. R. Kelly and Public Announcement. It was the public announcement part of R. Kelly. Yeah. When I got them, I put them in as Forte because Michael Rappaport was doing a movie called Zebrahead. Yeah. And they wanted me to do a song, but they wanted me to do something with a group. So I just took my friends. I love Mark and Vince and them, and I brought them in. And I said, Damion Hall featuring Forte. I did the majority of all the vocals. I produced the record along with a guy named, I want to say Carl. It was two guys that produced that record with me. I forget their name. I love them. I know who y'all are, so please forgive me, and y'all know who you are. So if you hear this record, you'll be like, yeah, it was me. And I wrote a song called Holding On. Holding on. No, I'm sorry, that's the version I did on my album. Ho, 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 thought I was the one, had me on the run, the hard desire, right? And then people was like, oh, that's dope. When I did on my album, my Straight to the Point album, I did the same song and I remixed it. See, so people that don't know remix, I took the same song.
Oops, the volume went off. Yeah, okay. So you took the same song and remixed. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, it's connecting. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes. So I made it into. I made Holding On a sexy song on my '94 album. So, you know, I think I'm the king of remixes. To be honest with you, I mean, for those that don't know, you know now, right? Yeah. That when I hear records, I'm automatically remixing them inside my head to be something different than what it sounds on the visual.
Someone asked, did you do anything on Teddy's Jam 2? Did you do any production on that?
I did not. What I did was the video. I basically, you would call consulting and giving the idea for the video. I did that. Okay.
The other question they asked was, we talked about '95. It was a big surprise because Teddy was with Blackstreet. Then you'd done your solo album, and so then Aaron, and then out of the blue we see "Tell Me What You Like" from the New York Undercover soundtrack. Now, as a fan, you know, I fell off my seat when I saw the fact that you guys came together to do that track in the midst of solo and Blackstreet. We then thought this was the beginning of something else, but how did that come together? Because no one really told us the story as to how you came together for that and then disbanded right after.
Well, it's because they called us and they wanted us New York Undercover, and we went and did a show episode. And whenever we see each other, here's the weird thing about that. Whenever we see each other, we automatically go right back where we left off, no matter how crazy it left off, no matter what. And that never was crazy with me. Just I want y'all to know this. Damion Hall never did no crazy shit and got. But we whenever we get that opportunity, yo, man, you know, New York wants to do such and such.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
I begin to